All right, guys, tuck's empty.
Oh, thank goodness.
That was hard. That was
Mine too.
we're done.
No, we're not done. We got 2 more full truckloads of staging to do. I'm telling you, we're not done.
Okay, we better get started.
Hey, hold up,
what's
guys.
that?
Hey,
What's that?
hey there.
I don't know. Let's open it up.
Come on, man. We got more stuff. This is
Where were you?
Oh, thanks, Izzy.
Get out of there.
Come on, man.
We got 2 more to do.
Come on, guys. Come on.
When's
It's not
lunch?
funny. Come on. This is not funny. Let me out.
Come on, we have homes to stage. This isn't time to relax. I know it's hot, I know you're tired, but
You guys do it.
I just want a little lemonade.
No, there's no time for that. We got work to do. You're not going to get paid today. Come on.
get the truck
Okay, we better hurry.
loaded.
Okay.
Hey, how about this?
What
My
color
favorite
do we
card,
need?
the Jack of
Let's go with
Clubs.
the blue
I
here.
like it. We'll
That
put
would
it in the
be cool.
lower
We
level.
need 2 blue?
What do you have, Lonnie?
Oh, I still don't think he knows Jack, but I've got the king.
Okay,
I think that will that work?
Perfect.
Yeah, that'll work.
Purple?
These are great.
Purple?
Purple?
Very
Okay.
good.
Get that ugly one.
This one?
That one.
Okay.
Taylor, what
That's
about
ugly.
this?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it's like lots of colors.
She said no.
I think that would work really well.
Okay, give me another
Hey,
one.
girls, let's set some goals. How about a basketball
Okay,
goal?
well,
Huh?
I like it.
Let's take it out. How about that? Yeah, some goals.
Another
I've got a
one.
helping hand
Oh boy.
Well, maybe. We'll
It may
see.
go in a bathroom.
and a bust of Luke.
I don't know about that one.
All right, one more blue.
All right, we're done.
Do we have lemonade yet?
I think we're good.
Lonnie, what's wrong?
Well, nothing.
Okay.
He thought this was too heavy. Come on.
No way. This is great. I love these chess pieces. They're going to be awesome. You know, planning everything out for the staging of all of our houses is so important. How are things coming with all it all?
Well, it's been a lot of hard work, but I think it's going to be beautiful. We have color, texture, pattern. I'm really excited. I think the hard work's going to pay off.
I would agree.
Don't forget to give me credit for the things that I added.
Hey, it's looking good. You're doing a good job over there.
As you can see, staging is a lot more than people think. Just like what's out here, it takes a lot of planning. But it's also about artwork. It's about colors, color walls. It's about the flooring. It's about light fixtures. There is greenery, accessories. So there really is a lot more, and we're going to show you that today, so stay tuned. But Lonnie, would you go ahead and open up for us?
Sure. Hey, welcome to Between the Studs. I'm Lonnie Norris, and this is part of the Granite Ridge Builders team, including Tony Reinke, our president. Also today, we have members of the Choice Design crew here. They're a sister partner, very important in what we do. As we build homes in northern Indiana and northwest Ohio and parts of southern Michigan, I'm not sure we'd build as many homes if it weren't for our partners at Choice Design who decorate, who design, and also who stage.
Very true.
Buying and selling your home is not just a financial decision, it's an emotional decision. So staging is there to create an ambiance. What it really is to sell people on the idea of how they truly want to live.
Yeah, and actually, the word staging is just recently caught on, but we've been doing staging for centuries. In fact, back in the Chinese days, 3,000 years ago, they called it Feng Shui, so we're still using some parts of that. Also, Shakespeare at one time said, all the world is a stage. And where did that word come from then, that word stage, Tony?
Well, the big thing with that is we're going to go back to 1972. So staging of a house is relatively new. A woman by the name of Beth Schwarzkopf was a real estate agent, and she had a big theater background. Well, as she was going along on trying to list and sell homes, she noticed that a lot of these homes needed staged so they'd have a better shot at actually getting sold. And she actually quit being a real estate agent in 1985 just to teach realtors how to help stage homes.
Yeah, and now today, 25% of homes on the market have been staged, and they find that it'll sell 80% quicker and up to 20% more in value.
Wow.
So when you think about staging a home, you really have to start on the outside. We always say even when you pull up to a home, how it looks at your first glance has a lot to say. So you want to make sure that your landscaping is looking good, that your lawn is freshly mowed. You want to make sure that the outside of the house looks wonderful. As you approach the front door, we need to make sure that that door looks pristine, because that impression is a big one as well. And once you walk inside the house, make sure you've done your repairs, that everything in the house is looking the best it possibly can.
You're right, Izzy. Curb appeal is so important, and most buyers form a decision within 6 feet of walking in the door, so it is important. Have your house clean, lots of natural light, lots of neutral colors on the wall.
So as you can see, this is a really fun subject for us. Stay tuned. We're going to be showing you all the in-depth parts of staging. I don't think you're going to want to miss this. Let's all pick our parts and pieces, and we can talk a little bit more in depth about this, guys.
Okay.
All right.
You want to head on to the next house and
let's
look
do
at that
that.
one? Okay, so I think we could start over here.
Luke, when it comes to staging homes, one of the words that you'll hear thrown around a lot is feng shui, and I didn't really realize that there's a big correlation between those two words. Tell us more about that. Where does that word feng shui come from?
Yeah, feng shui actually comes from China. It dates back about 3,000 years ago, and it literally just means wind and water. So what they mean by that is they're talking about the natural forces of nature, both the seen and unseen ones. And so you're talking about like water, for example. You can see the water, but what you can't see is how that water makes us feel, the energy it gives us, how it maybe relaxes us. So that's what they mean by seen and unseen.
And that has to do with staging, because when you walk into a room, there's always a definite energy, a flow to the place. And if it's not done well, if the feng shui is not correct, it can really prevent you from being creative and energetic. So what we try to do is when we talk about staging a home, we're trying to make sure that flow, that energy is there.
Yeah, so feng shui in a home can literally just mean placement of the furniture.
When I had my very first apartment, I had no care for feng shui. I threw the furniture in there just so I could sit down and enjoy myself. But now I am so in tune to that when it comes to my office and my home. I want to make sure that there's a flow, that there's good lighting, that there's good energy throughout that room from the placement of the furniture, of the art, of the lights. All those things really go into feng shui.
Yeah, and if feng shui is bad in a room, it can make you feel like that room is maybe too small, maybe too large and clammy feeling. Maybe too cluttered, making you stressed or feel very much a lot of anxiety that comes with that.
When people walk into a Granite Ridge home, they often talk about how it just feels different. And that comes not only from being that we build a solid home, but also when we stage it, we pay attention to that feng shui. I've watched our girls come in to change up a room and watch the difference from feeling a little bit closed or feeling like it's a small space to by the time they're done, you feel so much more open and energetic, and the dimensions of the room have not changed at all.
Yeah, and we actually have some examples that we can show our audience of how we've transformed some of those rooms where maybe the feng shui or the staging wasn't quite right. We've gone in, changed it up, and made a world of a difference. You'd swear these aren't even the same houses.
Well, Elizabeth, the subject today is staging new homes or existing homes. And I used to think staging was just setting little furniture around, give an idea of how the furniture could lay out, but it's more than that, isn't it?
It sure is. Color plays an important role.
I never thought about that. Tell me how color can be very critical as it relates to staging.
Well, color affects your mood. So if you have the wrong color, it could make you aggressive. It could make you want to eat a lot. It could make you cry a lot. So color is really important.
I must have the wrong color in my house because I'm always sleepy.
Oh no, Lonnie.
But it means more than that, doesn't it?
It does. Now there are some rules too when it comes to color. For example, I call it the 60-30-10 rule.
60, 30, and 10. Okay.
Yes. So your walls, your main color would be 60%. So a lot of times that is just something really neutral like a gray or a beige. 30% is in your upholstery, so it could be your bedding, your couch, and then 10% in accessories. That's where you can really add the pop and you can change it out over time.
So you're saying that what we put on the walls as it relates to paint and even the paintings have a lot to do with staging a home and making it ready for that buyer to realize what his options are.
It does, and sometimes people don't know how much color to use or how many colors. So a good tip is if you don't know, just use 3 colors. So you don't want to overload people with the whole color wheel because that'd be a little too much.
And by the way, we have a good stud tip. When you're picking out a wall color, be very, very careful because that little swap that you may be looking at, when you put it on a wall, it really pops. It gets enhanced, a lot larger and brighter. So you have to be careful, don't you?
You sure do. And the color behind us is actually a beautiful color. And this is a color that a lot of people, when they pull a swatch, could make a mistake because they could go way too dark. When really on a swatch, this looks a lot lighter than it does on the wall. And the artwork really has been pulled out through this wall color.
Let's talk about some of the colors that are popular today.
Well, we see a lot of blues. For example, if you're at a lake, that's always popular, whether you do an accent wall or bring it out in your furnishings. Of course, a wall color that's popular is just gray. So people stick with something basic, and then like I said, put some pop in with their accessories, and we see a lot of green as well.
As I understand it today, there's a lot of trim that's being painted a white color. And I know when we talk about like blue, for example, you say, well, what color blue do you want, right?
There's a lot of different blues. So that's what's so important, to talk to somebody like a professional here at Choice Designs, because they can help you with your color. It'll make a huge difference.
You mentioned the color wheel. Can you explain it a little bit to me?
Sure. Well, one example is when you're choosing some color for your room, you might want to stick with something that would be analogous, so side by side. So you could put your blues and greens together.
Analogous, something side by side.
Yeah,
okay.
side by side. And Lonnie, I know in the past, like we said, Choice Design has staged a lot of our homes and still staging homes. We have some great examples of color between the wall colors and accessories. Let's take a look.
Color speaks. Let's look.
Perfect.
When it comes to staging, the details are so important. Even the small details, for example, this table setting.
You know, looking at this table setting, just putting the little napkins in the glasses just gives it a little extra texture, flavor, color, everything right here.
It's so inviting. It makes you just want to sit down and have a glass of tea.
It does. When I'm out showing homes and when you're out showing homes, sometimes we have the people who are talking to us saying, wow, this is the way I would really love to live. Well, this is a way that you can live without spending too much money.
And so many homes are so open, they have so many windows. There's not a lot of places where you can accessorize and add these details, so this is a great spot to do that.
And there's just so many little places in the home, on bookshelves and in different small areas, where you can put some of these accessories that can give it your own little added flavor and those pops of color you were talking about.
Well, what I like most about this, it's actually functional too. You can eat off of these.
Elizabeth, and what I like best about it is now we have cake. And while we have cake, why don't we show you some pictures of how they did some accessorizing in some of our model homes.
When it comes to staging, one of the areas that is very underrated is artwork. A lot of people don't know how to select artwork, and we've got the right people to help you out with that.
You know, Granite Ridge and Choice Designs has an art gallery showroom for people to come and take a look at and have a plethora of options that's right for their space.
And if you pick the right piece of artwork, it can last you years. So we've got a couple of pieces over here. Why don't you give us a little commentary on what you like and how they might work?
You know, I love something like the photograph here. It's a little bit more of a sophisticated look, but it really gives people an idea, and it sets more of a memory. So they walk into the space and they remember different times that they had a space like that, or they were on vacation or things like that. You know, it's really important to talk about the scale of an art piece. So something like this is perfect for a bathroom setting or a small wall. You wouldn't want to put this probably like a space behind us on a large wall.
Okay.
But what is really fun about something like this, they usually have collections where there's similar photographs in different settings that you can put a collection with it and have a what we're calling a gallery wall right now.
That's nice.
You know, I love something like that one there, Izzy. It's very whimsical, so people can really imagine something different in that space. It doesn't have to be just what they're seeing here, but their imagination can take them into all sorts of other areas. And that space there is something that they really treasure then when they look at just this art piece.
Now this is done on canvas. Can you tell me the difference between canvas and maybe framed work?
You know, something that is really important when it comes to art is how you finish it off. So canvas really creates something that is more of a casual setting if you want a more casual look or not quite as formal of an area. If you're looking for a formal area or formal style for your house, I would definitely look at an ornate frame or something with glass on top of it. And last but not least, we have the difference between color and black and white. Black and white is so bold, it really makes a huge statement, but don't forget about color. It can be just as bold in a completely different way, and if you have more of a neutral wall setting, think about something that you can do with a splash of color. It's really a great way to be able to combine pillows, rugs, and artwork all into the same space.
And not to mention the different texture that's in some of these art pieces. Like we said, again, if you can pick out the right piece of art, it can last you for years, and there's tons of different options, and we're the people who can help you find the right piece of art for your home.
Here are some examples of some great artwork in our staged homes.
Now, Kayla, a big thing when it comes to staging or feng shui is lighting, and a term that gets thrown out a lot is ambient lighting. Now, with our new construction, we do an extremely good job with providing enough ambient light for any of the houses. And ambient just means like general overall lighting. We have lighting experts on staff that can help our homeowners out. But why don't we spend a little bit of time unpacking that term ambient lighting and lighting in general when it comes to staging and new construction?
Well, one of the ways that we started with the accent lighting, the task lighting, and all of the things like that is because a long time ago, they didn't do general lighting as well as what we do when we build now.
Yeah, like back in the 70s and 80s, you would go into rooms and there would be no overhead light. They required lamps that you had to go turn on. So the lighting just really wasn't all that good. You'd have, like you said, task lighting just to be able to read in those rooms.
Exactly, and now we use those sort of things as a decoration, and it's a way to stage your house that really makes it all come together, and you can't put enough light in your house ever. You can always add a little bit more.
Yeah, now you mentioned that we're using lighting as like decoration. With the transformation of like LED bulbs, which are on that tree behind us, the light fixtures are becoming art pieces in themselves, so they're really becoming the focal point of some of the rooms.
Absolutely. You definitely have so many options out there, and they really are taking a huge pride in how they're designing the light fixtures for the house, and it's very important when people are picking to pick the style that's going to represent what you want that house to look like. And it's very important that when we're staging, we really bring that together with the task lighting of lamps or some LED fixtures with tape lighting, some under cabinet lighting. There's so many different ways you can bring in lights that aren't just lamps.
Now, we spent a lot of time in this episode talking about feeling. Lighting can definitely change the feeling of a room as you're walking into it. You can either have down lighting, up lighting, or like lighting from those lamps. You want to touch on that a little bit?
So there's very important that we were talking about artwork and how to really enhance the space with that. Well, lighting, you want to enhance that artwork. So you might want to do down lighting. If you have greenery or if you want to create some nice shadows, you might want to do some up lighting. Now that goes for inside and outside of the house. It's very important to consider it in landscaping as well.
Now, another thing that when you're talking about lighting is there's cool lighting, which gives a little bit more of a blue hue, and then there's warm lighting that gives a little bit more of yellow hue. Again, that can play with our emotions a little bit and deceive us on what we're actually seeing.
So what's more popular right now, what people definitely like the feeling of more, is the feeling of warm light. Now, some rooms, it might require a little bit cooler of a light, but in general, you'll want to look towards that warm sort of a setting because it's just what's going to make people feel a little bit more comfortable in the home.
Yeah, now in the bathrooms, do you want to use cool or warm light? Because it can actually make your makeup look completely different. Then when you leave the house, you might not look as good as you thought.
Do you have a little bit of experience with that? Or? No, I would definitely recommend warm lighting when it comes to bathrooms. It's going to make a very big difference.
Now, let's leave them with this stud tip. When you're actually trying to sell a house, make sure all of your lamps and lights work, no burnout bulbs, and before you leave for that showing, make sure all of the lights are on. Don't try to save a little bit of money and turn your lights off. Leave them all on. Your house is going to show a million times better.
Can you imagine we could put something like this in a house for staging? What kind of wow feature would that be when it comes to lighting? I love this thing here. Going straight back on a flat wall, that's definitely going to be the best spot for the sofa.
Definitely. Let's add some pillows.
Okay, and I think we'll finish it off with some lamps.
Yeah.
We got the throw there. That would be perfect. And then you think they should do that? Put that
Accessories.
over there.
Let's get the lamp.
Yep. I think that definitely does it. Furniture and placement is so important. Thanks, guys, for your help. It's going to be what makes and breaks the staging of the house.
Placing furniture is definitely an art. It's not as easy as people think.
I went to school for this, and it's something that it took us a little while to learn what is best and how to set up a room correctly.
Well, Kayla, let's give everyone a special treat. Let's go stage a house.
Awesome. I'm so excited for this.
This will be fun.
Elizabeth, I always love staging day. It's so awesome to see what the house is going to look like when it's all said and done, going from an empty box to something spectacular, really.
And this is so important because it sets the tone for the whole house, makes you feel comfortable and welcoming, and we've got them moving furniture right now.
We do. We have a couple options. There are a lot of different ways that you could do some staging setups, and there's some right ways and some definitely wrong ways. One option that we have behind us is a good option, but probably not for a staging setup. This might be for how you're living in the house, you want to see the TV, have an open great room, but for staging, definitely not the best spot. So we're going to have them start moving it to another option as well.
And one of the problems with this is it's against the wall, and this is a big open space. So you're better off to float your furniture rather than shove it right against a wall.
You know, there's a lot of different ways to do things with the open concept, and a lot of people get a little confused on what the best option is. So we're going to show another one here. Could possibly be a better option even than what we're going to show behind us. So what a lot of people like to do is to put the sofa here because they want to see the view. They want to see all the wonderful, the ponds, the woods that they're behind. But what's really going to happen is you're going to cut off the space from the front door, and when you walk in from the front door, you're going to feel stopped. You don't know where to go because that sofa's in the way.
Now we have another option. We're going to shift this couch over here. So when you walk in the front door, it's going to welcome you. If you're sitting on the couch, you can look into the foyer, you can look at the fireplace, you can also look at the great view. And that's probably the best option for this space.
Definitely. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do this staging concept, and with these open floor plans, we really love having options, and it really depends on your furniture that you pick as well. If you're going to do a sectional or a sofa with 2 chairs, there are so many great accessories and things that you can put with that to really make the best spot for your stage.
Accessorizing is a very important part of staging, and it's pretty much the jewelry of staging.
It is. There are so many different ways to do it right and wrong, again, like we've been talking about with staging. And behind us here, the kitchen is a very important part to dress up a little bit.
One important note about accessories, sometimes less is more. So you don't need a lot of things to accessorize your home.
What we have here in this kitchen, I love that we have the granite countertop, the metallic backsplash, and we've really incorporated some metals, some textures in the accessories. So doing some coppery colors to really bring that shine out to mimic the backsplash, or some metal accents are really important.
And one great thing about these accessories in particular, you can move them around. So if you get tired of them in the kitchen, they could go to the great room or maybe your bedroom. So you can repurpose or reuse them in other spaces.
You know, we have a lot of neutral colors going on with the countertop, the backsplash, and the cabinets. So we've tried to bring in a few pieces of greenery or some artwork that brings a little bit of pop and life.
And one important thing is scale and the amount of accessories. So you want to use odd numbers. So group things in odd numbers, maybe 1, 3, 5. It's more appealing to your eye.
You know, with all these oversized islands that we have, we don't want to clutter what you see when you first come in. You want the light fixtures or the faucets to be your statement pieces. So something simple on the island, maybe just a few placement setups, or just a nice little accessory like we have here.
And Choice Designs is a great location to go to purchase accessories. All of our accessories are from Choice Designs over on Carroll Road, but we invite you to stop at one of our homes. Granite Ridge Builders has more than 20 homes that are staged at a particular time. So feel free, come on out. We would love to see you. You can see how we've staged the homes and accessories that are offered.
One of the most important spaces to people is going to be their master bedroom, and getting that staged correctly is going to be a huge selling feature for your home.
You want to be sure that you place your furniture in the right spot. So for example, your bed, that's a tough one because you don't always have a lot of options on where to put it because it's so large in the room. But when you walk in the door, you don't want to walk directly into your bed. You want the room to open up and have it against a big, large wall.
If you have enough space, it's really nice to put a bench or table in front of the bed to kind of bring everything together. Having some nightstands to the side with the appropriate size lamp fixture is really important as well. You don't want something too big, but big is actually in style right now, and you don't want something too small that it just gets lost.
And you might want another piece of furniture, whether it be for looks or maybe for storage for your clothes. Gone are the 6 and 7 piece bed sets. We're seeing more of a variety, bringing in some metals and some woods, and also a chair is a good idea so you can sit down and put your shoes on and get ready.
You know, for staging your home to sell, make sure you get rid of any of the things that are clutter or extra items. If you have an exercise piece, maybe even those desks with computers, for staging, simple is definitely better.
And don't forget your master bathroom. That's another place to stage.
You know, artwork is really fun in a master bath to dress up the walls a little bit. Towels, bring bring in some color and a little bit of life and fun and put a few little knickknacks on the vanity. One thing to consider in the bathroom is definitely adding on a frame to the mirror. If it's a plain glass mirror right now, it brings so much life and warmth into that bathroom, it'll definitely be a showcase.
Outdoor living is another important place to stage. This is another extension of the home.
It definitely is. It's so important in all these houses that we do right now. One great place to start with the outdoor living is a wonderful indoor-outdoor rug. It brings some life to the area, especially if you have just plain concrete going on. And there's so many different seating groups that you can do. We have the covered veranda here that we're going to put a nice, big, large table with a seating group around it. We have an open patio that you can have a couple different, a love seat or a couple different chairs with a coffee table.
And this is nice furniture because you could keep it out year-round.
Another thing to really think about when somebody's going to come see your home, or the things we think about when we stage our model homes, is putting a few accessories out on the table. Even though it is an outdoor space, it really is going to bring some warmth and life and really make it comfortable so people can envision themselves living there and how they want to see it, and really takes advantage of the gorgeous views of your home. Oh my gosh, I am exhausted. Oh.
You guys are exhausted. How many houses did we stage today? 5, 6,
I
7?
think at least 6. At any given day, we have 60 to 80 staged homes.
Yeah, and that's so important because only 10% of people actually have the ability to walk into a room and visualize what it could be.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. Staging is so important. It creates a lifestyle, showing an ambience. It's comfortable and it's really appealing to homeowners and home buyers.
When I think of staging, I think of fantasy and dream on maybe one side, but also a very practical side. We're helping people to figure out where to put the furniture and things like the television, for example.
It really is very important. I hope the audience found this fascinating. Kayla, would you go ahead and close for us today?
Thank you everybody so much for joining us. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please visit us on the website, give us a call. Even better yet, come into one of our 60 to 80 staged homes and come and see us.
Wow, I don't know about that, but you need a bath, Tony.
That guy does.
Whew, that was just too much today.
I deodorized.
Hey, it's time to set some goals.
Hey,
You
Like
hear
that? You like that?
it could work. Oh,
Bad. All right, next one.
Okay, this one.
they better not break anything.
We'll put this one on.
No.
We had a little bit of a lull.
You know, it's so important to get everything right now for our staging. How's things coming? That's terrible.
Is that English? Did you switch languages?
How's things?
Did someone hit Spanish subtitles? What
Well,
just
how's
happened?
things coming?
Okay.
He did say that, and then, you know, staging really came around.
Do we want to open up the show at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're being sarcastic.
What staging really is to give people an idea of what they. Nope. Ah.
It was good.
No.
It was really tugging at my heart.
I have a zit on my nose. That's why I was wearing
So
my
do
glasses so it looked a little better. Luke, when we talk about doing what are we talking about today? again? Staging. Where do you put something like this? And tell me a little bit about what I'm talking about, because I'm.
Yeah, that was the best opening we had.
Oh.